What if the most powerful form of change isn't loud at all? What if it doesn't argue, explain, or demand attention but simply shows up every day? In Thailand's mainstream media, a quiet kind of LGBTQ+ visibility is doing exactly that, slowly reshaping how society sees identity, normalcy, and belonging. Earth Pirapat's rise in Thai BL dramas coincided with a growing appetite for stories that move beyond fantasy and into emotional realism. Unlike many traditional male leads, Earth's characters rarely dominate the screen through power or bravado. Instead, they lead through listening, patience, and emotional grounding. His performances consistently center on emotional maturity, a quality still undervalued in male representation across much of global media. Earth portrays men who are comfortable with vulnerability, who express love not through control but through care. In doing so, he dismantles a long-standing myth that masculinity must be emotionally distant to be respected. This portrayal resonates deeply with LGBTQ+ audiences, especially those who grew up without seeing queer relationships framed as stable, nurturing, and emotionally safe. Earth's characters do not exist to justify their love. They simply live it. That normalization, quiet and unassuming, is precisely where its power lies. Off-screen, Earth's public demeanor reinforces the same values. He is often described as calm, respectful, and thoughtful, qualities that blur the line between performer and persona. For many fans, Earth Pirapat represents the kind of partner and the kind of man that society rarely encourages boys to become: emotionally present, kind, and unafraid of softness. Where Earth embodies emotional stability, Mix Sahapap embodies emotional openness. His performances are marked by fragility, tenderness, and an almost poetic sensitivity. In a genre sometimes criticized for dramatization, Mix's work feels intimate and restrained, allowing emotions to unfold organically. Mix's characters often hesitate, they doubt, they feel deeply, they love quietly. These traits challenge the assumption that romantic leads, especially male ones, must be assertive or dominant. Instead, Mix presents gentleness as a form of emotional intelligence and vulnerability as strength. This approach carries subtle political weight. In many societies, men, particularly queer men, are pressured to perform toughness to gain legitimacy. Mix's refusal to conform to this expectation reframes queerness not as something that must be justified through hypermasculinity, but as something inherently valid. Beyond acting, Mix represents a generational shift among Thai entertainers. Younger artists are increasingly willing to engage with themes of mental health, emotional honesty, and identity without defensiveness or irony. Through his work, Mix Sahapap contributes to a broader cultural narrative that love does not need to be loud to be profound. Nanon Korapat occupies a unique position at the intersection of mainstream success and progressive values. As both an actor and musician, he reaches audiences far beyond the traditional BL fandom. Yet, he consistently chooses roles and projects that explore internal conflict, growth, and emotional complexity. What distinguishes Nanon is not only his talent, but his worldview. He approaches questions of identity and diversity with a sense of curiosity rather than fear. Rather than presenting queerness or gender nonconformity as issues, he treats them as natural variations of human experience. This perspective resonates strongly with younger audiences who are increasingly rejecting rigid labels. For them, identity is fluid, personal, and evolving. Nanon reflects this mindset not by making grand declarations, but by embodying it through thoughtful choices and respectful discourse. In an era where celebrities are often pressured to take polarized stances, Nanon's influence lies in his nuance. He demonstrates that progress does not always arrive through confrontation. Sometimes it arrives through empathy, dialogue, and representation that feels human rather than ideological. If Earth and Mix represent emotional safety and tenderness, Kuhart Chachawit represents courage. As one of the most openly expressive LGBTQ+ figures in Thai entertainment, Kuhart challenges not only heteronormativity, but rigid gender binaries themselves. With an androgynous aesthetic and unapologetic self-expression, Kuhart exists outside conventional expectations of masculinity. In an industry where conformity often determines longevity, this choice carries risk, Yet, Kuhart has remained steadfast in living authentically. His visibility is not merely symbolic, it is life-saving. For countless LGBTQ+ youth, especially those in conservative environments, seeing someone like Kuhart thrive offers proof that authenticity is possible. His presence challenges the idea that queerness must be hidden to be safe or successful. Kuhart's journey illustrates an essential truth. Representation is not just about inclusion, it is about survival. By choosing to be seen, he creates space for others to exist without shame. In this way, his career transcends entertainment and becomes an act of quiet resistance. While many LGBTQ+ advocates rely on activism or public campaigns, Porsche Apiwat has taken a different approach, one rooted in everyday visibility. As an actor and influencer, he openly shares his relationship and personal life, presenting same-sex love not as a political statement, but as a lived reality. This strategy is profoundly effective. By showing ordinary moments, shared routines, affection, partnership, Porsche dismantles the notion that LGBTQ+ relationships are fundamentally different from heterosexual ones. His content reframes equality not as an abstract ideal, but as something deeply practical and human. Porsche's influence is especially significant in the context of marriage equality discussions in Thailand. Rather than arguing through ideology, he demonstrates through example. His life becomes evidence that love, commitment, and family transcend gender. In doing so, Porsche offers hope to LGBTQ+ individuals who long for futures that feel stable, visible, and legally protected. His message is simple yet powerful. Queer love does not need permission to exist, it already does. Bright Vichirawit occupies a rare position in Thai pop culture. He is both a global heartthrob and a key figure in bringing BL narratives into the mainstream. His popularity reaches far beyond traditional LGBTQ+ audiences, extending into spaces that once resisted queer storytelling. This reach has made his work quietly transformative. By portraying same-sex romance with sincerity and emotional restraint, Bright helped normalize queer relationships without framing them as controversial or radical. His characters love openly, struggle realistically, and exist without apology, an important shift in a media environment where LGBTQ+ stories were once confined to niche audiences. Bright's influence illustrates how cultural change often begins not with confrontation, but with familiarity. When audiences see a widely admired figure embody queer love with dignity, resistance softens. In this way, Bright becomes not just an entertainer, but a bridge connecting mainstream audiences with stories they may not have previously embraced. Win Medawin represents a modern interpretation of masculinity, one that allows space for vulnerability, affection, and emotional honesty. His on-screen roles often balance confidence with sensitivity, presenting male characters who are neither emotionally distant nor performatively tough. This portrayal carries particular weight in Southeast Asian contexts, where men are often socialized to suppress emotion. Win's characters challenge this expectation by expressing care and intimacy without losing credibility or strength. The result is a version of masculinity that feels expansive rather than restrictive. Off-screen, Win's calm confidence and public image reinforce this message. His widespread popularity suggests a cultural readiness for change, proof that audiences are not only accepting of softer masculinities, but actively drawn to them. Through presence alone, Win contributes to a broader redefinition of what it means to be a man in contemporary Asian media. Tulpakorn stands apart as a figure associated with longevity and maturity in Thai BL history. While many narratives focus on youthful romance, Tul's work emphasizes relationships that grow, evolve, and endure over time. His characters often navigate responsibility, commitment, and emotional complexity. This perspective is especially important in LGBTQ+ representation, which frequently centers on coming-out narratives or first love while neglecting adulthood. Tul challenges this limitation by portraying queer relationships as sustainable and deeply rooted in mutual respect. As both an actor and producer, Tul also represents the evolution of queer storytelling behind the scenes. His career affirms that LGBTQ+ narratives deserve depth, continuity, and space to mature just like the people they represent. Jenny Panhan has reshaped LGBTQ+ representation in Thailand through comedy, a medium often underestimated in its power to shift cultural attitudes. Her humor is bold, self-aware, and unapologetic, allowing her to address gender expression and identity without defensiveness. By making audiences laugh with her, Jenny dissolves barriers that moral arguments alone cannot. Humor creates intimacy, and intimacy fosters understanding. In a society where difference is often met with discomfort, laughter becomes a gateway to acceptance. Jenny's presence on mainstream television demonstrates that LGBTQ+ figures do not need to conform or soften themselves to be embraced. Joy, flamboyance, and confidence are not distractions from activism, they are forms of it. Gaji Tachikorn's influence does not come from grand speeches, viral activism, or dramatic declarations of identity. Instead, it comes from something far more subtle and arguably far more powerful: consistency. As a television host who appears regularly on mainstream Thai media, Gaji brings LGBTQ+ visibility into spaces that are routine, familiar, and woven into everyday life. She does not arrive as a special segment or a symbol of controversy. She simply shows up day after day as herself. In many societies, LGBTQ+ representation is often framed as an issue to be discussed, debated, or explained. Gaji disrupts that framing entirely. Her identity is not treated as a problem to solve or a topic to analyze. It simply exists alongside her humor, professionalism, and personality. This absence of spectacle is precisely what makes her presence revolutionary. By refusing to be positioned as an exception, she quietly insists on belonging. This kind of representation carries unique cultural weight. When queer individuals are only visible in dramatic narratives, coming out stories, struggles, or moments of conflict, they risk being perceived as separate from ordinary life. Gaji offers an alternative image, an LGBTQ+ person embedded in daily routines, conversations, and entertainment. She becomes part of the background of people's lives, and in doing so, challenges the idea that queerness is something unfamiliar or disruptive.